Hi everyone, it's Kim from Sublime Scrappin' and happy St. Patty's Day to you all. I just wanted to share with you a quick card I made. I'm working on Easter cards and this is one of the ones I just completed and I was so happy with it I thought I'd do another one and share with you guys how to make it. So let me get started. Here's the products that I used and that you'll need. Okay. First off, I used the cricut 2 cartridge, and I used from that cartridge on page, let's see, 41, I used this little Chickie, and then I also used the ears to go on top of him to make him like a bunny. And then also from the Art Philosophy cartridge from Close to My Heart, on page 31, I cut out this scalloped card, and that was cut at, let's see here, 4 1/4 inches, and the Chickie was cut at 3 inch. So that's that. And then we have the Artiste cartridge from Close to My Heart, and both of these cartridges just have so many images on them that you just can't go wrong. So then from there I cut the cloud, and I cut this at 1 1/4 inches. Okay, so that's that. The other products that you're going to need is a embossing folder, and I chose to use the Swiss dots. Not sure if you can see that. And I've got just a couple of pieces of paper here, just a random sheet of green cardstock and white, and I'll show you what we'll be using those for. And then for the other paper, I used the My Mind's Eye Happier 6x6 pad. Oh my gosh, they just have so many really cute papers in here. So spring and Easter oriented. So use that. And for the stamps, I used Emma over at My Creative Time, the Hello Spring, and from this I will show you what I did because I didn't have the stamp that I was looking for. So I used that set, and I also used the Happy Hunting stamp set, and from this I just used the Hippity Hoppity. Okay. And then I also am going to be stamping everything in Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I had 2 punches. This is the Fisker's punch, and I used this for my grass. And this Martha Stewart Tiny Tag Scallop Border Punch is the one I used for my little tag. So those are the materials that I used, and I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so first off, I did a lot of the cutting prior to making this video just because I had already cut the one, so I went ahead and cut a second one. So I'm just going to take you real quickly through putting this together. This is the frame that came with the card cut. So I cut that out at 4 1/4 inches as well. And the bunny ears I just cut from a little glitter paper, from some pink glitter paper. I'm not sure if you can see the shine on that. Just to back it, to give it a little bit of sparkle. So I did that, and then here's my cloud, and I'll be embossing this with the Swiss dots folder, excuse me. But let's start with our little Chickie. We're going to go ahead and put him together. We've got, you know, him cut out and his little bitty beak here, so we'll do that first. And to do that, I'm just going to be using a Zig 2-way glue pen and my little tweezers here. So we'll put his beak on. And I guess I could have inked around the edges, but I really kind of wanted him to pop, so I didn't ink him. I just figured that with spring the colors are so bright, they're not muted at all. So, put him on. kind of just, because the two-way glue pen gives me just a little bit of work time here, I'm just lining him up. There we go. And these legs are very, very small. So when you're doing this, be careful because they will just bend right up on you. Okay, let's set him aside and then we'll just go ahead and glue in our bunny ears. Probably should have done that first. Okay. And you know what? I'm not sure this zig is going to hold it, and I'm not sure I used that the first time. Let's see here. Yep, okay, we're good. Okay, I know I did this the first time. When I was attaching my ears, I wasn't thinking, and I actually attached them a little too high. So, and I applied the glue to my ears instead of my Chickie instead of my ears, and this time I'm going to do it just slightly different. I'm going to make sure that I just apply it to the hat part here, and I laid mine off to the side slightly because I actually kind of wanted to cover up the little Chickie's feathers that were there. Okay. So there you are. Isn't he cute? I thought he came out so adorable. He wants to be the Easter Bunny this year. So there's that. I'll set him aside up here. And then we're going to go ahead and fold our card. And it comes, I don't know if you guys have used any of the card features in any of the cartridges, but if you haven't, you'll see this slight little cut here. And it just folds right over nice and perfect for you. But if it doesn't line up, what I like to do is kind of line it up a little bit here better myself and just crease it up. Okay? And then when you're done with that, and unfortunately I didn't think ahead, when you're done with that, you want to take a bone folder to it just to make sure that that crease is nice and strong there. Okay? So there's our card base. All right, we're going to go ahead and actually we're not going to adhere this down because what I did is I punched out the grass and adhered this behind it. So we're going to go ahead and punch our grass. And I know lots of people do this differently. Some people do it upside down. I have found that for me, just straight up seems to be the easiest, and then you just line it up from there. Let's see here. Okay, and that is actually plenty to go across my paper. So I'm just going to tear the top off here and bring in my cutter and just cut this down to just slightly over here. Line that up. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, and we don't even need to cut that off because we're going to cut that off in a second. So then you want to take your scissors, and the way I did this is I kind of held this up and decided where I wanted my grass, and you know, obviously it's going to hang past, so we're going to cut that part off, but you need to make sure that your grass goes all the way to the bottom before you cut that, turn that over. Okay, so what we'll do is just kind of eyeball where this is going to go. Alright, we'll just put some zig two-way glue right along that line. Just get that adhered down, and there you have your grass. Okay, so now at this point I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down, And I'm going to use some dry glue. And the reason I'm doing that is because this has to align just right. And oops, wow. Spread that around here. If we don't get it aligned just right, it's not going to look right. And this will give me, I think, the most playtime for getting it lined up. All right. So go ahead and put that on. And I'm not pressing too hard because unfortunately my glue kind of went all over there. I'm going to open this up and just make sure it's down pretty good. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to run our Cuttlebug folder through with our cloud. And you just open that up and place that in. And you have that. And let's see here, I forgot to get my sorry, I forgot to get my folders. Okay, so we have that. Whoops. Sorry about this, I'm still learning to video. Okay, so we'll just run this through. And you use the B plate, A plate, or B plate, yeah, A plate, the sandwich. Just run that through there. Okay. Fold this up. All right. And then we have our Swiss dot. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and adhere that down with my ATG. Okay. And I'm just sort of randomly putting this toward the back here. All right. And now we're going to pop our Chickie up. I want to put him on some foam tape. I'll use these little Zots here. And one thing you want to notice if you look at the original card here is I've got the ears up above. And this does still fit into an A2 size envelope. So I've got the ears up above, and you want to make sure that your foam tape does not go above that part of your ear. So I'm going to set this here and sort of get an idea of where, how far down here, maybe here. We'll start it there and there. That should be good. And then we'll just place some dots around. I'm not real stingy with my foam dots. I know some people use a little less than others. I figure that I want this card to not squash just in case I did mail it. And so I use a little bit more. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be mailing this one or not. So get all this adhesive taken off. And they don't make this very easy, I have to admit. Okay, this one, there we go. Okay, and we will just place our little chick right about there. Now on this one, I don't know if you noticed, but I actually used a slightly smaller foam tape, but I liked him popped up a bit more. So on this one I used the larger scale on the foam. So I think that looks good. Now what we need is that little piece of white cardstock that I had. And what we're going to do, this is where I had to sort of finagle. And I'm going to take my Memento ink. Hopefully I get this right the first time. I think it took me 2 tries last time. And I used this large, and I don't know how well you can see this large stamp, and on it, it says, well, to my favorite Chickie. But all I really wanted was the word Chickie. So what I did is I took this and I inked this up with some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I came down a little ways from the top. Whoops, no, I don't have my C there. Make sure I get it really good here. Okay. Came down a little ways from the top so that I had enough. And just stamp that down. And you'll notice I didn't ink the whole stamp. It wasn't really necessary because I'm only going to be using just that word. So we got that. And what we'll do is go ahead and punch that out. And I like to turn my punches over. You can see better. It makes it a whole lot simpler. Okay, and we'll line that up so that all I get is the Chickie. And this is a great way to use your stamps. I mean, we have so many adorable stamps and we're always looking for new ones, but it's great to find other uses for the ones you've already got. So there's that. And then I'm just going to put one little foam dot, or maybe 2. Let's do 2. 2 little foam dots underneath that, and we're going to slide this right underneath our little Chickie's wing, like he is holding a sign. Okay, get this out of our way. Perfect. So there you go. And the last thing to do is the inside of the card. So we're going to open our card up. And a lot of people do this first. I don't. I think it's because the inside of the card is usually an afterthought for me. So unfortunately I forget until I get there. So first we're going to use, I know a lot of people have the EK Success tool. I don't. I just have this little powder static remover, and I'm not really sure who it was from anymore, but I'm just going to kind of run this across, and it's got basically a powder in there to make sure that the embossing powder I'm going to stamp on there does not stick to anything except where I put the stamp. So we'll get our Versamark ink, ooh, dusty, and we'll take our hippity hoppity stamp, and excuse my stamps, they are rather dirty. I need to clean my blocks. And ink that up. Okay. And we're just going to stamp that right about there and give it a good press. Okay. And then I've seen this on so many people's YouTubes that I just had to adopt it, and I just keep my white embossing powder in a little tray so that I can just take a little okay, there you see, that's what it looks like before I heat emboss it. So set this aside, and it's going to get loud for just a second. I'm going to take my heat tool to it, and we'll just heat that up. Whoops, sorry about that. And there we go. And that's our finished card for today. I thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.